Hello and welcome to my 13th episode of this poker series. I'm sorry, but the audio commentary was lost due to Camtasia and switching the recording input back again. So I have to record this again. I will try to comment as I did when I was playing. I think I can figure out what I said in the time I recorded the video. So, let's just get started with the Jack Deuce here from the big blind, obviously folding that. At least I hope I did. Not a good hand to play in the big blind. And yeah, first hand, fold 7-5 from the small blind to the raise. Right there, it's a clear fold. I don't have any read on these guys. I just joined the table. So let's just see what's happening here. It's maybe playable if like two guys call him and I get good odds and implied odds for a lot of money if I can hit a straight or something like trips on the flop or two pair or something like that. But no, he's raising from the button. Obvious fold. He's short stacked. Queen just suited on the button. He's raising again, so it's a fold again. But I think he's raising a little bit light, as you have seen the hand before. He just folded, raising from under the gun to a re-raise. Not a strong hand there. 3-6 is an obvious fold. So we might want to re-raise ERC a little bit lighter than normally. Here we got the ace-10, obvious raising position. 6-handed ace-10 is pretty strong. Even 9-handed you can raise it in a later position easily. And you might even have the best hand from under the gun a lot of the time. So ace-10 you should really raise it with. Don't think you can be wrong there a lot of the time. So yeah, just raise it, and then if you get re-raised, decide again if the opponent just bluffs or really has a strong hand. And then you're most likely behind with the ace-10 if he's raising for value. Raising it with a deuce-3 suited under the gun. As I said a lot of times, this is where I want to mix it up and raise with suited connectors and low cards from under the gun. Because I can, as you can just see, I can take it down easily if they don't hit a big hand. And also, I get a lot of more action later if I have a big hand under the gun. Because otherwise they tend to fold like 99% of the time, unless they have you beat. So here's a nice hand. I have kings in the big blind. The guy is raising. As I mentioned earlier, he's very loose. So obvious re-raise here to 550, 3 times what he raised. A little bit more, of course, but yeah. And he folds again, and I didn't think he would call there, but I'm not giving him a free flop. If he decides to call or re-raise, then I'm putting it in with the kings, obviously. But I can't risk him flopping a set or something and then putting it in for a $3 pot. That's too dangerous. Calling here with a queen jack in the small blind against the short stack. Not really great play. I should probably be raised. And now I'm gonna fold this because it's not a good flop for a queen jack. King 4 on the button. That's not really strong. Could raise there with easily if no one had opened before me. But other than that, King 4 is pretty bad. Also, I like playing kings because it's a strong hand, a strong card, the king, and most players don't put you on it if you hit a king or something, because they often keep betting with their jacks or queens. And also, it's not like an ace, like everyone's gonna play an ace, but a king is kind of not played so often, I think. A lot of king 10s and king 9s and such fold, and so if you hit a king, you're most likely in front, a lot of the times at least, and a lot more than if you hit an ace. So I like to play kings, as it is the second highest card, of course, and it's a strong pair on every flop, and so I like to play kings, especially if they're suited or something, because you can make the second nut flush, or even the nut flush if there's an ace. So, yeah, I think king something is often underestimated, like king 10 or king 9 or something like that. I think you can win a decent amount of money with it. Like, for instance, I've once called with the king 5 to a re-raise. I raised there under the gun with the king 5 suited. I call re-raise, and I hit my king, like king deuce 7 or something on the flop. And the guy kept betting and I kept calling and he had queens and I won like the $1,500 pot there. So you can really get some value for your king if you put your opponent on the correct hands, if you don't pay off when he has like king queen or something like that. Yeah, like here, king deuce. Obviously, the exact thing I was talking about. Once on a 5-10 table in a casino, I raised with the king 5 suited, and the flop was something like 5, 7, 8, which is not so decent, and 3 guys out of the small blind, button, and big blind called me pre-flop, and I wasn't really sure I was ahead there, but I had to bet it, so I bet like 150 or something, and one guy decided to call. And I was done with the hand, obviously, with bottom pair, and I was just hoping a king or 5 hit the turn, so I could really get some money out of him. And the 5 hit on the turn, and I kept betting, and he kept calling because he didn't believe me, and I went all in on the river for like 600 euros, and he kept paying it off, and he had pocket jacks. So yeah, I mean, they don't really think you hit those small cards if you raise under the gun. He might have thought I had ace king or something like that and just wanted to take down the pot, bluffing there. And yeah, if you hit with these smallish cards, you have to get value for it, because otherwise you will lose a lot of money because you won't hit 3 5s every time. So some guys were saying, why did you bet? Why did you keep betting? He could have had a set or something. Yeah, if so, he's lucky. Then take my money. Good luck to you. I can change it. If you hit a set there and I make trips on the turn, then it's just the way it is. I have to lose the money there. But I'm not losing value because I think somebody hit a set on me every time I play and hit something. Because I did that in the early times I was playing. I often checked, thinking they had me beat or something. And it's not a good play at all, because they will bet if they have you beat, and you will pay them off with 3 5s there 100% of the time. So why not bet it? It doesn't make sense. If you keep paying them off, if they bet into you, you have to bet yourself to have get some value for your hands as well. Because otherwise you will just not win anything when you have the best hand and just pay them off when they have the best hand. And that's just stupid. And I'd rather like to make a value bet and then fold to a re-raise than just checking and having him check and lose a lot of value there. That's worse than just losing some, like, I don't know, 10% of the times when they really have the nuts and re-raise you. Having kings here under the gun, no one calls. This has been like it for the last 3 sessions or something, except the tournaments I played. people don't call me when I have big pairs or big hands. And this is because this is the reason why I don't really make money in the last episodes. So I'm hoping that this will change soon, because we are kind of stuck at $500 or around $500. And yeah, I would really like to increase my bankroll, to play a little bit higher, and to have at least something I can withdraw, something like that, because I'm not withdrawing $400 and then, I don't know, then start over from 10-20 cents or something. That's stupid. 7-3 on the button. Don't really like 7-3 offsuit. Also, I would have probably, I could have taken it away from him with the raise, because he's raising very light, but still 7-3. Not so sure. He tends to have a hand sometimes too. At least he should have. Folding here to his re-raise, because he's not re-raising very often, and with a 9-10. I just didn't feel like it. Maybe if it was suited or something, and I could have flopped a draw where I'm at least 50-50 against an overpair, then I might have called and tried to get him off the hand once on the flop, but yeah, 9-10 offsuit. Not so strong. So we have a pocket 8s here in the big blind. It's kind of nice, 6-handed. I'm assuming I'm good here like 80% of the times at least. And everyone folds. King 7 from the small blind. That's a tough spot if he raises. No, he doesn't, so I can raise. I don't really like to give up my blinds too often. I'm always thinking, if they have a super big hand and I re-raise, then they will obviously re-raise and I can fold. And if they have like a medium hand, like A7 or something, then I can probably make them fold now or on the flop with the continuation bet. And yeah, that's why I like to re-raise a lot from the blinds, because often they just raise with anything on the button. I don't think he has anything here. Jack 4-6 doesn't look like it. Just looks like he wants to check if I have anything. So I decided to raise here to 15 to just find out if he has anything or not. And he was thinking for a short amount of time and called. Yeah, the ace, I don't know, looks like I could have hit that. And I wanted to keep betting, and now he pushes all in. So might have ace-jack or something, and obviously I can call with 10 high. It was just that I was thinking the ace could have helped me bluff him out, but it looked like it wasn't. Why does it offer $20 rebuy? I don't get it. Just rebuy me to the full amount and stop with that $20 nonsense. Raising here on the next hand with the ace-9 suited. Getting re-raised from the short stack. I'm obviously never folding to a $2 re-raise. With the ace-9 suited at least. Here's $18 left. I flopped top pair with top kicker, and I'm thinking it's good. At least a fair amount of times. And if I'm wrong, I'm just losing 18. So I will call this here. And hopefully he keeps betting. And I can get all his chips. And now he checks, and now I hit an ace as well, and I'm hoping he has like something like ace-jack up to ace-king here. And so I'm pushing immediately to make him call quickly and not think about it. But he thought about it for some time and then decided to fold. Which I don't really get. What could he have, like queen or something, but I don't think he would have bet if I checked, so I probably got the most amount of money out of him right there, because I don't think he would fold a pair of jacks or pair of tens there as well. Or at least he would have kept betting the turn. But I mean, I could be wrong about that. But still, I like to shove there on the river because it looks so weak, and I mean, he's short stacked. He has to call if he has anything right there. He can fold, then I can just push him around. Are you thinking about something? No, folding. Yeah, I mean, right now we can't really get anything going. We're not getting paid off if we hit something, and if we try to bluff, they obviously have the nuts a lot of the times. So let's just spend luck. I don't think it has anything to do with our playing style that we can't win here. It's just that you have to have a little bit of luck playing poker. Like, I mean, I don't need cards, but if my opponents all the time have the nuts against me, then it's pretty hard to win. So I either need them to have nothing, then I can easily play with nothing as well. But if I got nothing all the time, and they have good hands, I can't bluff them out. And if they don't have anything when I have good hands, I don't get value, and that's really tough to win something. I'm just raising here with the king 4 suited because I think he's pretty weak, limping under the gun. And if he decides to re-raise, I just lose $2. And I have position on him, so let's just check it out. It's not a decent flop. It's okay that I hit my king, but the ace is really bad for me. Now 3 diamonds are there. I have to call if he bets here, because I didn't do anything on the flop. Could easily have a queen or just garbage. And now I hit my 4, which is awesome. And I think I'm good a lot of the times here, and he checks, and now I know I'm good. Unless he has a flush and played it brilliantly. So I'm just betting 650 to get a call from any ace, maybe a queen, maybe any king as well. And anything that is better that I beat, of course. And if he decides to re-raise big, I would probably fold. Because some people tend to play flushes like that, checking on the river. Just trying to get the maximum out of it. So if he like raises to 25 or something, I would have probably folded. But he decides to call, and yeah, he had the exact same hand I put him on. Some ace was a gut shot or a weaker kicker. I put him on something like ace deuce 2, ace jack there, and he had the best that I put him on, ace jack. So I think when he called, I put him on ace jack exactly. I think I commented on that, saying he had ace jack there, and I was pretty excited that he had it. But yeah, you don't have to believe me that I had the right read there. Doesn't even matter. But I got the money out of him I could, I think. He didn't like the flop so much as well, getting re-raised there with the ace king queen. He just had a gut shot and the best kicker, yeah, but anything that I play and bet beats him basically. Or that I play and bet for value at least, like king queen or ace king, ace queen, 10 jack, of course. Yeah. Pocket 8s on the button, that's pretty nice. He raises to 2. I could re-raise here, but I think in position with the pocket 8s, I just want to see a flop. And he will have a hard time to bluff me out once I call him on the flop as well. And that's not the flop I was hoping for. 3 overcards to my 8s. I have a gut shot, but I mean any king and I'm dead pretty much. Like king queen, king jack, or king 10. Now he's betting so little. I have to call this once, of course, to see if he wants to continue. And now an ace hits. Another overcard to my 8s. And he's betting 2 again. That could either be really strong or really weak. Doesn't even matter because I'm basically beat here. Even if he's weak with just a 9, I'm beat. So I don't see what he could bet there that I'm beating. And if I hit my 10, I might just lose more money. So I decided to fold there for the 2. I could have re-raised and tried to take it away from him as well. But yeah, I was just thinking that he wouldn't fold anything like a gut shot with a pair or something like that. Calling here, the re-raise with the Jack 8 suited. And that's not the flop. I want to continue. I would have tried to bluff anything lowish, like with no queen, no jack, no king, no ace in it. That flop without any backdoor outs or with any direct outs, or any outs at all. Like if he had a queen, I need to run a straight or something. I don't like to continue there. Like I've seen High Stakes Poker Season 7 lately. The guy with the king queen suited who pushed all in on the flop of deuce 3, 6 or something. And Johnny Chan just called with the aces immediately. The guy had no outs. They ran it 3 times and he hit queens in 2 of the 3 times. And of course it was no good. So I have a pretty strong hand here. Second nuts. And he folds. So I don't like to bluff without anything. I think in a lot of books it says to have at least some outs if you want to bluff or if you want to play a big pot and are bluffing. So I like to do that as well because often you will hit these and then win a big pot instead of just losing. So I don't like putting it in with king queen high. But the guy could easily have a set or something. At least give me a backdoor flush draw that's like 3% or something. But with just nothing, it's really bad. Then I have to have a read on the guy that he folds that he has nothing or something like that. But with just guessing, I like to have some outs as well. So raising here with the 5-7. It was a really boring table and boring play. There weren't any all-ins, I think. We flop and open and straight draw against the 2 guys from the blinds, which is kind of nice with the 5-7. Couldn't really hope for more, and now he's betting. I decided to call here. I could easily raise, but yeah, if he bets into 2, he might have a big hand. So I'm checking. I wish I would have bet there, but I have to bet now. And I bet a little bit more, making him believe I have the 4 or something, and he folds. So probably he was on a flush draw at a weak 6 or something like that. And yeah, I mean, that was one of the more boring episodes I played. There wasn't really a lot going on, and I don't know, this table was just freaking tight, and every time I had anything, they folded, and my bluffs didn't really come through. I mean, for the small pots they did, but the bigger pots I couldn't just bluff, and it was just not going my way. And it's episode 13, so why wonder if you're a bit unlucky there. But I mean, you will have these episodes or these trying to bluff here, picking up the action, and he decides to call, and I don't know what I'm thinking here. Maybe he has a queen, but yeah, he bets 3 now with the ace coming. I couldn't really put him on any hand, so I did not try to re-raise him there again. Might have worked if he had a queen or jack, but I just re-raised him before, or put a lot of money in the pot against him. And I really regret that not betting that 9 here, top pair. And now I have to fold, obviously, because I have one guy behind me, and the jack is obviously a card that they will hit a lot of the times. So I should have bet the flop, even though the guy was raising. I mean, I have to protect such smallish top pairs, because I mean, half of the deck is a higher card, and then you never know if the guys hit it or not. So you want to at least find out if anyone has anything, and then it's, you just have more information, and you might just take it down there. And the pot was big enough to just bet and take it down. Queen 10 on the button. The maniac raises under the gun, so I'm not too worried about him having a big hand, and even if so, I can easily flop something big with the Queen 10 suited, but that's not it. And he kept betting into 2 guys, so I pretty much know I'm beat here. I just kept raising a lot of the hands I got dealt, because the table was so tight and I was really bored at it. There was never anything happening, and now I get re-raised. And the 4-7 is kind of a nice hand to call re-raise with, because they never put you on it. And I'm not really thinking he has a pair of 7s where I'm really dead, so yeah. With that flop, it's really bad. But he checked here, and now I was thinking the only chance I have is to bluff it and maybe take it down. Like if he has, I don't know, like a small pair, have 7s or 8s or something. But then the 8 hits, and I decided I would just bluff a smallish amount, because there was 4-2 straight, and he had the ace queen. He made the straight there. He had a lot of outs on the turn. He would have never folded, so it was just bad luck again. If he hadn't hit his outs, I would have probably won, because he can't call with the ace queen high, and yeah, what can you do? Just frustrating a little bit here. It's not really a good call, and I mean, he shows the queen jack high. That was just misplayed, totally calling there twice and not trying to bluff him out. And yeah, that was just bad. Queen jack high. He had an open-ended straight draw all the way, and he kept betting. And I was stupid enough not to raise him or bet the river or something. So yeah, just gave away the money there. I'm calling here, can't hit anything. I'm down like $75 at this moment. And now I get dealt queens, which is nice. But as you can imagine, no one wants to call me. This session was really, really bad up until this point. And I didn't really like the table at all. I mean, it was just disgusting how often they call me with garbage or bet into me with garbage. And I kind of decided there that I would leave the table and find another one. Because, I mean, how do you want to win the money back if no one calls you? So this might be the last hand, I think, where I'm raising with the king 4 suited under the gun. And of course I get re-raised. Yeah, and that was the point where I really thought, nope, thank you. I just called this to see if I can hit anything. I hit the king, which is quite nice, but he kept betting there, so I called and there was a 9. And I thought to myself, if he had aces, he has to fold now if I push. So let him make a bet and then push it all in. And he makes a smallish bet like he had aces, ace king, ace queen or something. So I decided to push it here because often he has to fold this. I have some folding value for 24 bucks more, but he decided to call the ace king. And yeah, I was just leaving the table right there. I mean, you can't bluff them out. You can't have the best hand, and you don't get called if you have a big pair or something. So I decided to play 1-2, make it a little bit more exciting because I was really bored with the table and everything. And I was kind of steaming as well because I mean I lost virtually every single hand where the pot was a little bit bigger than 10 bucks or something like that. So why not steam a little bit? Sometimes it helps you. Just don't make any stupid decisions, but to play a little bit more aggressive is not a bad thing. And to play a little bit higher isn't too bad as well. Especially if you're behind. I mean, to be behind on a 25-50 cent table with 100 bucks, it just tells you will not get it back quickly. So I'd rather play 1 and 2 if I'm behind on 25-50, and that's just half a buy-in, and you can easily get that back, and you don't have to play too many hands to achieve it and lose more money. So once I'm behind, I often tend to play bigger stacks, bigger tables. So 5 deuce here, he even raises. I'm getting 3.5 to 1. I'm not folding. It doesn't even matter what hand I have and what read I have on the guy. Now I hit my 5, which is kind of nice. The board isn't really too scary, and now I make a full house. And I check here once more to let him bet into me, but it doesn't happen. I put him on ace something. I should have probably bet. But, I mean, ace queen, yeah. I don't get it why he min-raised. Our stacks are way too deep to just min-raise ace queen there. I will never fold any hand, and he has to worry about me having anything, because he doesn't know what I have if I call, if he just min-raises. That's a tournament play where you have like 20 big blinds or something. There you can min-raise because it's a lot to the other guy as well. You will not call with any garbage hand. But in a cash game where you can easily rebuy and you have so big implied odds and you're getting 3.5 to 1 on your call, I mean, you have to be against a pair to be behind more than 3.5 to 1. And how often is that gonna happen? And even then you can get lucky and flop 2 pair or something and win a big pot and have implied odds like crazy. So I would never fold anything for a min raise, I think. Just trying to get the blinds here. And of course we get called from the small blind. And he bets 2, but I mean that's just super weak, so I decided to raise to 8 here. And he instantly folds. That's one of the weakest plays I've ever seen. Just calling the button raise in the blind and betting the min bet and then folding instantly to a 4 times as big raise. So he calls again from the button this time, so now he has position on me. And that's a horrible flop. And I think I just decided there that I wasn't continue to bet anything into it. And with the bet out of the big blind, it just got easier. And I folded immediately. That's lucky to hit a set on the river there. I don't even get why he bet into 2 guys with a pair of 9s there. And the guy called with ace-jack. Well, that's... yeah, I mean, if you ask for disaster, you will get it. I mean, why do you call with ace-jack? The guy obviously has something if he bets into 2 guys from the big blind. So you're just hoping to hit your ace, and then you hit your ace and just continue calling, because it's a flush out there. Yeah, then he got lucky on the river, but still. I don't like this play at all. Either raise the flop or raise the turn, or just don't call the flop. And call the turn and then call the river. I mean, if you want to float with ace high, it's okay, but then you have to do something on the flop, on the turn or river. So the maniac plays every hand. Queen deuce 13. And calls, of course. Just unlucky that I'm on his right. I would have liked to have position on him. Because you will obviously win more and lose less against the guy that plays every hand. If you have position on him most of the times. That's a nice card. 4-5. I'm not gonna win anything. I'll get a message. Heading 42. I think it's obvious that he has a straight or something. But he could easily have 2 pair or a set, or just a flush draw with like queen 9 or something. So this guy decides to call. And he must wonder now if he's up against the straight, but he decides to keep betting. And he just calls with the nuts, and he had 2 pair. That's kind of weird. I mean, I would have re-raised all in there. You will get called from a set at least 10% of the times or something. And I don't think the rake is that big that you can just call there. There's a high roller weak in Seefeld. Just got via short message. But I'm not gonna play as I don't have high money right now. And also I'm not very close to Seefeld at the moment. Sorry that this episode is so boring. I mean, I just couldn't get into big hands there. King 3, nice. And the maniac calls a re-raise instantly from the big blind. That's really weak. We hit a king, but that's not gonna be good. A lot of times, if the guy raises, one re-raises, one instant calls, and the other calls as well. So no one wants to take that pot. He's betting 14 now, which is kind of weird. just around 30%, 25% of the pot. I would definitely call with any hand here, and he decides to raise, which is a good idea, I think, against the maniac. And he folds. We cannot get a hand here. And everyone's taking a hell of a time, but I mean, I'm gonna raise the button, but no, I can't. If it's unopened, I would have raised there. And the idiot called again. Quite nice. He's giving away a lot of money. I think he lost about 200 right now. Just in the 10 minutes I'm on this table. Without ever getting to a showdown, I think. Now he bets 4. He takes 1 down. 470 on the gun raise. A little bit smallish. I decided to call here. Maniac, of course, in. That's a great flop. I might bluff it here. It looks very safe, but now with the jack, I don't really like it. No one's gonna fold a jack or king, or maybe not even a pair of 9s or something. So with 3 guys, it's very unlikely no one has anything, and it's just 19 in the pot, so I can't make a big bet. I can just make it 15 or something. If there was 60 in the pot, I probably would have tried bet 45 or something like that. Now there's a 4, and he's betting. Sometimes it's better to just give it up against 3 guys. Especially because I didn't really show big hands here. I don't like to bluff into too many people without showing at least some decent hands. Maniac calls, and he gets immediately re-raised from the button, and of course calls as well. That's how you burn through a lot of money. Just try to hit, and then play, and all the other times you're folding, because everyone exactly knows what you're doing. You call all the time, then try to hit something, and then everyone will fold once you start playing after the flop. But they will not stop betting into you. So he decides to call here, and if I was Rukavitsin, I would just check it down here, and he does. So let's see what Green Dude wants to do here. This is a horrible river card, and I think I would fold it if I don't have a flush or something, or at least a straight, and he does. Queen 5. I'm so frustrated right now. I just raise, and if I get Green Dude in the pot, as I do, I'm pretty relieved because I can just bet into him, and he's folding once he doesn't hit. So it's not a big chance he's gonna win anything against me. The bad thing is that I don't have position on him, so yeah, it's not a really good spot, but this is a nice flop for me raising another gun, and I immediately made a continuation bet and he folded. Deuce 6 in the big blind. It looks like his standard raising size is 470. Which I don't get, but I mean, everyone can raise what he wants. I don't personally care. I just think it's a little bit stupid, but especially with a guy like Green Dude on the table. I would definitely raise a little bit more, as he calls every single hand. He's now betting 10 into it. Yeah, and the other guy folds. Deuce 3 on the button. Nice hand. Oh man. The table was fast at least, but I mean, I'm waiting like 1.5 minutes for every hand because Green Dude plays every single hand and it takes a lot of time as well. And look at that. 5 deuce, 5 10, 5 3, 8 6, Jack 8. What was my best hand? Like Jack 8 or something. It's incredible. And I'm still in the black. You know what I mean? And finally I get a nice hand here, ace 9 suited. Hopefully I get some action with it. It's not the best hand, but still, I mean I have seen nothing, yeah, and everyone falls. Winning $3, which is nice. Oh man, this was one of my worst sessions ever, I think. It's just so freaking boring. I could have played like 20 tables like this, because I never got a hand I could play. Just fold, 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 raise, everyone folds. I like to make decisions or get my opponents to make decisions, but how can I do it with these hands? And with this, with them just folding, or, I mean, just so freaking boring. And I'm sorry I have to show you this, but I'm showing you all the plays I make, except free rolls. I'm showing you every tournament and everything that costs money. I played a tournament recently, the free roll to the Sunday Million, and I finished 726, but I think that's really boring because a lot of people are just sitting out. And it takes a lot of time to get anywhere where it's fun, and even then, the play is so freaking bad because it's a free roll. Now that's 6 into me, folding bottom pair. Ace King here in the small blind against the Maniac, that's nice. And he raises to 4, and I'm re-raising to 12, and I think he's gonna fold. Would be nice if Green Dude calls, but he decides not to, and he folds. At least winning 6 this time. Which is amazing, I guess. So yeah, with free rolls, I don't think you want to see that. I mean, if it's like invited free roll where no one really gets into or something like that, if it's a premium free roll, then I would probably show it, and now we get a re-raise there. It's so freaking bad. Or if I play like 10 free rolls at a time, which is not possible because there are not so many free rolls, then I would probably show it. So having a pair of 10s, yeah, I hope I get some action. And the Maniac folds. It's like every time I have a hand, he folds. And everyone folds. It's just, I mean, give me a break here. Give me some money, or, I don't know, play against me. It's just so... Oh, I wish I would play a 15 man table there to get at least one call. I mean, these sessions really suck if you can't get any action with your hands, and I don't even care about being still behind like $80 or something. I just want to play and have some nice hands I can talk about and discuss with you. This is just terribly boring. But I mean, there will come better times. What can you do? Now I'm gonna raise with the ace-8. Normally I would like to fold this here, but with the hands I'm getting, I don't really want to fold ace-8 right now. And at least the idiot calls, which is nice. And Rukavitsyan is singing about something. I wouldn't mind another call. Not at all. At this point, I'm really just hoping to get some action and see a river card or something like that. And that's a little bit too much action. Raising to 24 there. I mean, especially because I didn't raise a lot of hands. Because I didn't have anything at all. But once I get re-raised, it's certain that ace-8 won't be good. So I'm not gonna play this. Even though I had position. Then I invite Queen Dude and play a big pot with ace-8. And I didn't really want to do that. I mean, I ask for action, but I'm not giving away my money like that. So, yeah, that's an obvious fold. Didn't even like to raise with the ace-8. I don't think I'm in the first place. As I told you earlier, suited connectors is fine, but a smallish ace on the gun is so freaking weak. So I'm not into that. And the idiot gets raised out of hand once more, and we have a pair of threes. Looks like the nuts to me right there. So I'm not gonna fold. Yeah, everyone folds. Hopefully he's calling. And he's thinking about something. And he folds. Oh man. If the idiot doesn't even call me in position, yeah. What can you do there? And it's like the last orbit where I had 4-5 on the button. Hopefully Rukavitsyan doesn't re-raise again. I really like to play the 4-5 on the button, as it is probably the best I could ask for right now. And it's not too dangerous to play 4-5 because, I mean, you're never gonna get broke with just one pair. And with two pairs, you're normally way ahead of your opponents. And if you're behind with two pairs, then yeah, fuck it. I mean, this is a bad flop, and yeah. What can you do? I try to bluff here, hoping that no one has a king. And I don't think a lot of nines can call because there are so many people in the pot. Like 12 could call maybe if everyone folds, but I'm just hoping he has nothing when checking in third position. And he does, and I can take at least a little bit down there with the 5 high, which was obviously the worst hand of them all. 8 deuce can fold that. King 3. I'm asking myself if I was as bored as I'm commenting this when playing. I think I was, and I was getting a little bit frustrated. I mean, I'm in the plus on this table, but still. Lost 100 on 25.50. And I really wanted to get that back at least. But you can't make it happen with just garbage, and yeah. trying to play against the fool here, but queen 8 and he overbets the pot on a 6-2-3 flop. I don't think he can get any value out of me like that. If I have a set, I'm obviously laying, but other than that, I put him on like aces to queens or something. And he calls me with the pocket deuces, and I decide to just keep betting, see where I am. And he calls, and I mean, he could have ace high with flush draw or something like that. But I decided to give it up right there. So nothing is really going our way. 9-5 suited on the button. Kinda nice. I'm gonna call this at least. It's at least playable in position. I mean, I folded so many hands and didn't really get any action when I had something. And this is nice. Flopping a flush draw at least. And he bets 10, which tells me that he at least has a pair or something. At least something decent. And now I hit a 9. Yeah, and I'm never folding. And he has ace 10. I could have bluffed there, but I'm not sure that this would have brought me the pot with him having top pair. They were 4-2 straight. I can't hit anything as well. Hit the worst card on the turn. And now I decide to screw it. Calling a re-raise with a 5-7 high. And he bets 29, normal continuation bet. And I call again, and now he checks, and this is basically saying I got nothing, please take the pot away from me, which I will do 100% of the time. Then he's folding. But it was a steamy call, we got the best out of it, and luckily he had nothing there. That's nice, raising with the ace queen, Maniac is in. Stubby König thinks about raising again. And he does exactly the same like last time at ace 8, but I'm not gonna fold the ace queen. Obviously. And this is a dream flop. I hit top pair and the second nut flush draw, and I obviously want to get something out of him, but I'm not giving away a free card, so it's 36 is what I'm asking. And he calls, and I was so sure I was ahead here. At least with my flush draw. I didn't think he had ace king with the king of diamonds. And he decided to fold the turn. And so he probably had just king of diamonds or something like that. Or maybe a jack of diamonds. Like pair of jacks with jack of diamonds. That's probably what he had. And now he raises again, and I have ace 8 under the gun again. So I'm folding, and the idiot shoves with queen jack. Oh, he has some outs, but not a lot, as I folded an 8, so he can make it. I would just shove there. The guy just raised twice in a row. I thought he was so strong. Raising there again. I didn't think he would do that with garbage, so I don't get that push at all. And he raised again, queen 10 suited. That's kind of a nice flop. I have an inside straight draw and 2 overcards, backdoor flush draw. And I decided to call here, try to hit something, and an ace hits and a 5, and now I can really make it look like I have a 7, which I would call before the flop and on the flop, obviously. And he didn't have anything and folded instantly. Calling with 6-9, but yeah, that's a bad flop. Folding. This will be our last orbit, as the 1 hour is already full right now. And we're having ace 8 here. This time on the button, which is way better than under the gun. And everyone folds, and now I have position. or I had position before, but now I'm only against the blinds. That is what I want to say. The idiot is gone. He's been replaced by another guy, so we have to be careful not to rush into him. Rukavitsian thinks about something here. Raises to 18. This is a close call, but I still have position. And this is a bad flop, and I decided to fold instantly. Because just ace 8 is so freaking bad on king 10-10. Against his raising range, I think I'm behind so often. And that's why I decided to fold. Having kings here won't get any action, so yeah. Just a normal habit. Getting $3. Getting raised with the ace 8, no action with kings. Now I get queens, nice. Someone re-raise me. Like Stubby-König. Come on. Everyone's folding. Yep, $3, nice. Always nice to lose every pot and then just win $3 with kings, queens. No, we are 386. I think we lost $21 there. 21 something. This was the last hand, and thanks for watching. Goodbye.